All right, in this video, as you can tell by the title, we're gonna deconstruct this whole golf cart. I'm gonna get it right down to the frame, starting with this makeshift roof. So let's get started here. I'm gonna take off this top piece first. I think that will help me. It's just holding to some, probably like 3 or 4 screws, so. This one, it's because it wasn't even gonna get into anything. Okay, I think that's all of them. Yeah. I think he nailed it too, so I gotta get a pry bar. I was thinking pry bar, but hammer works too. Perfect. Oh, that was easy. Nice thing is I might be able to use this on my chicken coop or something. Next thing is these bolts right here holding up the uprights. Hopefully I don't need another wrench. Long bolts for something so janky. Ones in the back, of course, are different size, but it's definitely being held in there with that bolt. It's one way to get it off of there. Hammer. Hammer. Basket is off. We are keeping this for sure. So I picked up all that old wood. It's probably been on there for quite a long time. And now I'm going to take all the back plastics off. It looks like I'm going to have to take the seat off, the seat cushion off first, which is incredibly hard. Just kidding. It's not connected with any bolts like it's supposed to. And I think, let's just take this off real quick. I think there's some bolts under this rubber mat, and they're held in by some plastic clips. I think I'm just gonna drill those out because I'm gonna replace those clips anyway. And I think drilling them out will be the quickest way of doing it. So I'm just gonna, oh yeah, that's super quick. Just kind of show you what I'm doing here. So it's just a little plastic clip. If you have a clip remover and you don't wanna do this to your newer cart to get this cowling off or this weird plastic off, you don't have to do that, but the clips are super cheap. And so I'm just drilling right into the center of it. Comes right out. Beautiful. I'm gonna save this, probably just clean it up. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Might try to refreshen it. Might replace it, I don't know yet. There are some bolts holding this down, and I think all of these buttons that are also rivets also need to be drilled out for it to come out. But I'm going to take this off first, and maybe there's a couple bolts up here, and maybe that will make it come out, and I don't have to undo those rivets. So let's try that. So after reading all of my sockets, these bolts that are down into here is, you can probably guess, 10 millimeter. And of course, that's the one socket that you are always missing. So I can't get to these bolts with this wrench. I can get to the bolts up here with this wrench, and I will take it off there, but I gotta take off the bumper to get to those. So I'm gonna take off these bolts real quick. I'm gonna take off the bumper, and I think that's all that's holding this on is these bolts up here are the ones that I have to take the bumper off. So let's do that real quick. It's gonna be a pain in my butt. I should just go and buy a 10 millimeter socket, but I'm too lazy right now, and I got this. This has like a little ratcheting thing in there, and so if I can get it in there, oops, that's tightening, it'll make it a lot easier. Oh yeah, it's gonna come right off right after I get this bumper off. All right, let's take off this bumper now. There's a couple bolts back here. They're rusted, but I think it's spinning a bolt on this side. Okay, I need another. Other side. All right, bumper's off. Now I can get to those friggin' bolts. Needed to come off anyway. All right, so I just got those couple bolts. I think the fenders or the splash guards are connected to this. I might just hit them off. They're with that same plastic clips, but let's deal with these guys first. Having a socket would be so much better. Luckily, these aren't like super on there. Yeah, luckily these are not super tight. I can almost do them with my fingers, and so it's definitely easier to get to with the bumper off. Okay, cool. Splash guards are not connected, so I can just take this off now. Should just come right off now. That was easy. We're gonna try to fix this right here. Future video. Let's do the front. We'll do the seat last. There's a lot of cabling I gotta do. All right, so inside there's four bolts right here, 10 millimeter that I need to take off on both sides. And then underneath there's to hold just this top piece here, there's some more bolts that I have to undo, but we'll start with these four, the four on the other side, and then we'll see if this comes off. There's like a Phillips head screw on the other side that's spinning, so I'm just holding it with a screwdriver. I might have to take off this guy too, but we'll see. Pick up all these because I want to save these little cap nuts. Okay, change of plans. I don't know how to take apart a golf cart, and I think it's going to be easier to take this whole thing apart instead of this and then the bottom. And I think I need to get under this rubber piece right here, and so I'm just going to drill out these plastic clips like I did on the back. See what's behind here. This one right here, I don't think I can get to with my drill. But I don't need to because I can get to this bolt now. think I'm gonna just do from here down and not worry about these guys, because I just need to get to that bolt. Yep. Yeah, I think there's 2 more nuts, and then I think I'm gonna have to take off the steering wheel with this bigger nut so I can slide this over the steering wheel. So let's find these other 2 bolts, and then I'll deal with the steering wheel nut here in a second. So it's actually not under, it's inside of the glove compartment. I keep on calling it glove compartment, but it's just where you like throw your golf tees, your golf balls and stuff in the front. I guess it's called a glove compartment. You can put your golf glove in there, so I guess it could be a glove compartment. There it goes. Okay, so I do definitely need to get that steering wheel off. Looks like it's 11/16. What I said, yeah, 11/16. See if this comes off easy. Oh yeah, super easy. I'm gonna put that back on after I'm done. There it goes, yes. Put that cap back on. I don't need to take it off right yet. Keep the dust out of that grease. Should be kind of a slide this guy off kind of a deal. This accelerator pedal's kind of in the way. There's the brake. There we go. Let's put this off to the side. So I want to take this piece off right here. To do that, I got to take off this F&R switch right here. I don't know if I want to. How easy is it to take off? I don't see how you take it off. Bunch of clips. I think I might just take the plastic off, and then I think I can take the F&R switch from the front after the plastic's off. Well, no, because I can't take the plastic off because the switch is in the way. Oh, right here, these bolts right here. Bet you those are 10. Okay, so I have to invest in a 10mm socket, I think. Okay, so I gotta take this guy off. I was thinking about taking the whole switch off, but I think I'm just gonna take the cables off for now. I think that's gonna be the easier thing. Let's unplug this guy. That's where the starting switch goes into here. Yeah, those are gonna be easier to take off with my... And this is really just actually a forward and reverse switch. This doesn't have a neutral, which is kind of weird. I would think if it didn't have a neutral, it would have like a toe switch, and I don't see a toe switch in here either. I don't know a lot about golf carts though, so if you guys have any clue why there's not a neutral on this, if there should be a toe switch and I just don't see it, let me know. I'm gonna look up the wiring diagram for this guy and see if I can see if there's something that's missing. I do have some like extra wires not connected to anything that's broken off, but I don't know what those are for, and I'm not really worried about them. Okay, the cables are unclicked, and so I'm just gonna unbolt the hinge from the frame. I'll show you where that is. So there's 2 bolts here and 2 bolts here to unbolt the hinge for this from the frame. I might also have to either cut or drill out the rivet for this. I'm probably going to cut it and then just put a new cable in later. It's probably going to be the easier thing to do. So there we go. Should come away. Hopefully it does. And then, like I said, I don't know if I'm gonna cut this cable and make a new one or if I should try to just drill out a rivet. Oh, there it goes. All right, so I got all the plastics off. I got one of the rubber mats off. They're riveted in too, so I'm gonna drill the rivets off of this one, take that one off, and then I'm gonna just remove all of the electrics because I wanna clean this mess of a frame and see how much rust there is in there and see how much damage I gotta fix. All right, so like I said, I'm gonna take out all the electrics. I'm gonna start with the solenoid. I think I downloaded a wiring diagram. This is the control module, the speed control module. So I'm gonna take this off. It gets connected up here to the throttle position sensor. I'm gonna take that off. I don't know if I'm gonna take off the pedals yet, but I'm gonna start back here, take all the wiring off the motor, take the solenoid off, take the control module off, take the speed sensor off. But first, there's mice turds all over the place, so I'm gonna kind of spray it. I'm gonna blow it off with my blower. I don't know how old this solenoid is, but I'm probably gonna replace it. I think these are all 10 millimeters too. I think I gotta take off the motor wires to get it through here. It's in this wire loom. I still might take this off first though. I'm almost there, so there's like a fusible link right here that's connected to this whole wire stuff. Okay, I don't know what I'm doing, guys. I'm just like going through the motions. So looking at this a little bit harder, it looks like this is on a bracket and I don't have to really get into there. I just have to loosen this guy up. And then there's one more down here. All right, so this is now disconnected, so I do need to get the motor wires off. There's also a charger up here that I need to do, and then I also need to get the wires off of this speed controller. I'm wondering if it's just a plug. I'm gonna check underneath and see if it's just a plug. So, working on the speed controller here. Yeah, I don't see a plug. So I'm probably gonna take off that speed controller. Then I'm gonna cut off. So I actually already unplugged it from the control module. It was this like round plug. So this is already unplugged. I'm gonna button this back up, but I do need to cut these wires here. I'm just gonna cut them on this side of the butt connector. And now everything's disconnected. I'll probably put a two-way plug on here so I don't have to keep on cutting it. But now everything's disconnected so I don't have to take off the pedals. I think I can pull this through now and then just take it off of the motor. So let's go to the motor side real quick. So I should be able just to pull this out. Again, I don't really know what this wire is for. And so now all I have to do is disconnect it from the motor and then this plug out here, and I think I can just take that off with 3 screws. Looks like they're Phillips head, but let's deal with the motor real quick. The motor just has some bolts right there. I wonder if they're 1/2 inch. I should be labeling these, but like I said, I have a wiring diagram and I'm hoping that I'll be able to, these are marked. I should really label these somehow. I'm gonna label them. So all I'm gonna do, I'm just to take some duct tape, put it around, just make like a makeshift tab, or tag, I mean, not tab. And then I'm just gonna label them because they have S2, A2, and this is probably S1, A1 it is. I'm just gonna label them with a Sharpie. Be okay, so this is S1, this is A1, this is S2, this is A2. Okay, labeled. Now I feel better about that. These are pretty rusted. So I think this is the last piece I need to take out. There's that one. I think that's everything. So here's the whole wiring harness, minus the switch. It's crazy that this is all you need to make this thing run. It's pretty cool. Okay, put this off to the side. So right now I'm trying to figure out if it's worth it to take this off, because there is a bolt that I have to take off here that's kind of hard to get to. But to take this off, I have to take this off, which I have to drill out a bunch of rivets, which I don't really know if I want to do right now. It's getting kind of late in the day, so I'm probably gonna be slowly stopping. I think I made some pretty good progress, so tomorrow I'm probably gonna pick it up again. I'm gonna think about taking those off, and tomorrow you guys will know my decision. All right, it's been a couple of days and I have decided that I do need to take this off because of how much rust with some of the mounts that are in here, and I'm gonna have to replace that. And to replace that, I'm gonna have to take this off anyway, so I'm gonna start taking it off and we'll deal with it later, I guess. One rivet at a time. All right, one side off. Needs to be repainted anyway. All right, I got the both sides of those panels off. I tried to get the bolts off of the bottom. Both of the bolts are so rusted that they broke off. So I'm gonna have to figure out how I'm gonna replace that. I just got these two bolts right here to take off, and this side member will come off now. They're two different sizes. That's interesting. One was 5/9/16 and the other one was 1/2 inch. That's interesting. Yeah, I think I can probably just punch those out. But side member off. Let's go do the other side. There we go. To get the inner wheel wells off, I do have to jack it up and get the tires off, so that's what I'm doing now. I just have to drill out these plastic rivets like everything else on this thing. And then this will come off pretty easily. And then that one bolt right here, or that one nut. Another rusted, broken bolt. But I got it off. Time to do the other side. All right, so I got all the things that I want off of it. It's kind of late tonight, so tomorrow after work, I'm gonna pressure wash this all down and take a look at what I need to do.
right, this took a little bit longer than expected, only because I got sick for a couple days in between, so it took me about a week to get it to this point right here. I took like 3 or 4 days off because I was just sick. You probably heard my voice a little bit. But I did this. I brought it down to the frame for a reason. One of the reasons is because I have the plastics that are on the outside, so the front and the rear that need to be repainted. There's a big crack on the rear that needs to be fixed or replaced, so I knew I was going to have to take it off to do those anyway. But I also wanted to look, because this is a 30-year-old cart. On the tag it says it's a JH7, which in my research leads me to believe it's a 1994 Yamaha G9, I believe. And so it's 30 years old, so I knew there was going to be some rust. And especially in the battery box area, there's a bunch of rust from the battery acid that spills over when you're charging, especially with those lead acid batteries. And so there's a bunch of rust in that area. And some of it is a support material. And so I need to be able to get to that and fix it. And I don't know how I'm going to fix it right now. I don't know if I'm going to replace it with just some angle iron, or if I'm going to scab a new piece of metal on top of it to try to reinforce it. You guys let me know what I should do, because I don't know what I'm doing here. I don't work with metal very much. The rest of the cart is actually in pretty good condition. There is some surface rust in some areas that I'm going to sand down and then repaint with just some black spray paint, just to protect it a little bit more, so when I put it back together, I'm not worrying about it rusting more. And just looking at it after I cleaned it off with that pressure washer, there is little bits and pieces here, but it's not actually that bad. It's just in the battery box area. After I deal with all of the rust, I don't know if I'm going to move on to the motor and rebuild the motor and check out a differential to make sure it's in good condition, or if I'm going to move on to fixing the plastic pieces. I feel like I want to dive into the motor to make sure the motor is still good, the brushes are good, and it's not too worn down, because again, I don't know if this is a brand new motor. Not a brand new motor, but I don't know if it's the original motor or if it has been replaced. There is a date code of a TFN, and I'm going to look that up when I get back in, and I'll have something on the screen right here to tell you what date that was. But if it is the original motor, I'm hoping that I can rebuild it enough to make it so it runs. I don't know how many hours have been on here, how many miles this has been driven. It was rough to start off with, so I am trying to make sure that this motor's good before I dive into a whole bunch of other stuff. And I also know that I need to redeal with the plastics. After all of that's done, we're gonna go dive into suspension and brakes. I'm not gonna bore you with all that stuff. Just like and subscribe, and maybe hit that notification button so you can make sure that you're not missing anything on here. If you guys have any idea what I should do to this cart, or how to fix anything, or any issues that you see, please leave them in the comments section below. That would be extremely helpful for me. I am doing this blind. I've never worked on a golf cart before. But until next time, make your golf your project.